Blip, 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 blip. Hello. Hello. Mic is working, that's good. Hey there, everybody. How you doing? Let me just fix the camera as usual. Get rid of random stuff in my background. Don't need to see my hammer. Where do I want to sit? Let's move it about. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. How was your break? Did you have a break? Not everyone has breaks. Something like that. That'll do. Happy New Year, everybody. Did you have a good time off? Good time away? Good time hanging with your family? Good time just chilling? Not doing much? I guess we're doing uplifting vibes today. We can keep that there. It is kind of uplifting, this track. Any update on my music from content I do? I love to use my music in the game, but people make gameplay. So if you want to get it, send me an email. So one solution we've come up with is adding your game details to the terms for fair use in Content ID. So there is a way to sort of make it much less likely to happen, as long as, like, say someone streaming your game puts the title of your game in either the title of their stream or in the description, or your developer company name. We can do that. So there's one way we can get around this. So get in touch if that's something you're interested in. Let me know. We can do that. It seems to do a reasonable job. Yeah. The devs we've done it for so far have been pretty happy. So, how you doing, everybody? It's jumping straight into business. How you doing, everybody? How am I feeling? I'm doing all right. I'm feeling pretty good. Had some time off. We didn't do a great deal. Didn't spend too much time here in the studio. We'll just playing games. Played a lot of Diablo 4. Pushing the latest season. My build kind of sucks. Not as good as my wife's. My wife's playing a new character that came out this season and it seems to be super OP. Mine is not so very good. It's a bit squishy, but it's fine. We're getting there. We also watched a lot of Stranger Things, because we hadn't seen Stranger Things at all, and the final season was coming out, and so we started from season 1, and we timed it perfectly, guys. We timed it perfectly. We managed to, casually watch. We're watching, maybe every day or every other day, but we timed it so that when we finally got to the end of season 5, the final episode, the finale, came out the day before. Like, it was just, we couldn't have timed it any better. So it's just a continuous watch all the way from start to finish. It's quite good. Quite impressive, I have to say. No, it's very good. Yeah, I enjoyed Stranger Things. It was good. Really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would. I don't know. I'm not big into like horror or thriller kind of stuff. But it was kind of like the weird sci-fi elements kept me in, I think. The weird otherworld kind of junk. It was good. So yeah. So not much going on. What else did we do? Not much. Which is good. Which is exactly how I like my holiday breaks. Is doing not a great deal of anything. It's perfect. Perfect. Jay had a couple of games. Fun instruments. Very nice. And decals for your computer. Very good. Very nice. Excellent. And also been animating. Keeping busy, man. That's good. Personally been surviving. Thankfully, to hear. Glad you've been here. Glad to hear you've been good. Thank you. I'm glad I'm good too. Yep. I'm trying to think. Is there anything really super interesting to report? Not really. I'm just kind of, I'm going to be the planning for this year. And it's, you know, it could be a busy year. It could also be quite just a chill year all round. Depends on how things go. There's going to be a few deciding factors very early on this year, I think, depending on if I get a certain gig or not. If I do, then it might be a lot of work, which is great. But if it doesn't come in, then I'm probably just going to focus a bit more on the library early on this year, which is pretty exciting. Congrats on the Firelands music. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're working on getting the Season 4 album out this month. That's happening. So keep your eyes peeled. If you're a big Alan Becker fan, Season 4 is going to happen. It's going to happen this month. Drift on Infinite Stars is so good. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad. I mean, there's always something in the library that someone resonates with, right? It's really cool. You find your thing. You could try composing some voice music like the Misty Mountains. Yeah, true. It's hard to beat that one though. That's a pretty good track. It's a pretty good track. This month, yeah, exactly. It's happening. It's gonna happen. It's been too long. It will time out well with some things that are also happening. With Alan, so that's good. But it needs to happen. People have been waiting for way too long. I'm really bad with trying to get music out. But it's going to be a busy few releases. A busy year, a busy start to the year with releases, because I've got... I'll have the Alan Becker Season 4, the AVM album out. And then... I'm gonna work on getting the Menace soundtrack ready for the early access release, which is in early February, I think February 6th. And then there's the Elder Scrolls album, which I worked with London Music Works with. And that's coming out mid-Feb, I think, like the week after Menace. So it's just kind of rolling out, you know, 3 albums at the beginning of the year. I can just clock off, right? That's my year done. I can just not do much the rest of the year. I think that's how it works, I think. But I'm really excited for you guys to hear Menace and Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls is fun. That was a bit of work put into that. There was a lot of hours of chilling with Jeremy Soul's music and making some new arrangements. The guys over at Silver Screen pulled in some players as well, so we've got I used a lot of Hardanger fiddle all the way through the score to sort of make it a bit more cohesive across the whole album. And they actually got a really great Hardanger player. Hardanger fiddle is, by the way, if you don't know it, it's like a Norwegian sort of folk violin, I guess. That's how would you call it. It's got a very distinctive tone. And also a way of playing it, I think. Definitely when hearing the actual performance from a real player, it's you know, a little bit different to how I perform it with samples with MIDI. So it's gonna be really cool. I'm really looking forward to you guys hearing it. Hey Wiki! Thank you. Appreciate it. Big fan of Elements since watched Animation First YouTube. Wow. That's like going way back, right? I'm hoping this new project, Animation vs. Anime, will come out soon. Me too. Me too. Obviously, you do know the Hardanger fiddle. Okay, I don't know how it's obvious, but I don't know where people are at, you know. When did you start working with Alan to provide score for him? It would have been... I was living in Sweden. Maybe 20... Oh no, actually I probably... But look up the YouTube channel. Whatever the date for I think it was the first AVA track that I released. Let's look it up. Let's do it live. Blop, 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 blop. Oh, it's okay. When did I start working with Alan? If we go back in time. That's parkour. Showdown. Animation vs. Animator, the Showdown. That was in October 2020. There you go. October 2020. So we've hit our 5-year anniversary already. Didn't even realize it. It's been a while. You know, good collaboration. Yes, it's been a while. There, thank you. Yeah. So yeah, so got a busy start to this year, but that's all right. As I said, the rest of the year sort of will depend on certain events happening, and if they don't, then that's all right. We're fine. But if they do, then I don't know how this year will be. Maybe it'll be fun. Maybe it'll be stressful. I'm hoping it's not stressful. Don't want any of that nonsense. You know what I mean?
Work project.
That's true. Yeah.
Work, not personal project.
What do you mean?
Just saying that all these things that you're hoping for are work things, they're not personal.
No, they're all work things. Yeah. Future is uncertain, Twilliot's crew. Yeah. We can make it happen. Did I work on AVA 13? What are we up to? I keep losing track of the numbers. Oh, come on, YouTube. So, I guess I will be, I guess. We're not quite there yet. The 12 was the last one. We're getting there, though. All right? Yeah, well. Xfaxis, how you doing? Your wife isn't too deep into a TV show, hasn't made you go to bed yet. No, nice. Why do you need your wife to tell you to go to bed? She can just go to bed, right? She wants to? My watch is telling me that I need to stay up in the evenings now until at least 11 o'clock. Because that's apparently what normal people do. I can't stay up for longer than 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is bedtime. What am I doing wrong, guys? What am I doing wrong? Okay. Well, my project has loaded, so maybe we'll make a start on this. Turn that off. So this track is something I started over the break. Well, a couple of days ago, really. And it's kind of like, I don't know, uplifting or, you know, epic sounds with synths and orchestra, you know, my usual shtick, the usual things. I need to figure out how we do the routing though for you guys because I've forgotten how this works. Turn that on. No, actually I need to make a new bus. send this there. And then we send to bus B. Oh, insert send. Yeah, that's right. What's going on? Why wouldn't you just go to an existing one? That's crazy. Oh well. Bus M will be the thing then, which is now bus B. Very confusing, Cakewalk. Thank you very much for that. Really, really enjoyed that. All right. So this will go to 3/4 because that's what you guys will hear. Let me check. Just you, how you doing? It has been a while. How was your New Year's? Happy New Year. No problem. I'm happy to stream. My Razel. I am the Alan Becker composer. That is true. Whoops. Okay, you're not hearing that. And then why did that all happen all at once? It's awesome, Streamlabs. You're doing a great job. I need to reset the routing. Sorry, guys. This is like stuff that I probably should have set up before I clicked start on the stream, but we're getting there. We want to do the loopback source. Oh, it's 5 and 6. Why is it 5 and 6? I guess that's fine though. So if we go to 5 and 6, and then this is 1 and 2, and hopefully this will work. Hey. Okay. So this theoretically means that you will hear the full mix as it is, and I will get the version with sound ID on it that allows me to hear it through my speakers and not have weird issues with the sound in my room. I think that will work. Stream. All right, perfect. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Now I'm going to play you what we've got so far. We've got essentially mostly just like a big build in this opening section, and then it will just kind of peter out. So we got to work on this sort of back end section, see where it goes, but it's kind of just a vibe, big ambient, epic, orchestral vibe. See how this will pan out today. Okay? So from there, when it's sort of build into like sort of short strings, sort of ostinato stuff, and start building up to some sort of really big back end. That's my idea, but you know things always don't always pan out the way you want them to. But we'll figure it out. We'll get there. So it's a great build. I feel like this part of the sort of climax sort of lingers a bit too much, but I don't know. I think we'll live with it for now. We can go back and sort of work on it later. One thing I have been doing is sort of dabbling around with my template a bit. And I've actually gone back to using some of the East-West strings from the Hollywood strings, which is like a sort of a throwback. Because I used them years ago. Used them on many tracks. And I started blending them with Vista, which is a performance samples library. But now I moved away from them, started using all performance samples because I was using a couple of different libraries from them, and sort of I threw East-West to the curb, at least for the strings. The brass is still really good, but it's like maybe I don't need them anymore. But I actually going back and it's like listening to them, it's like it's a different sound. It's a fuller sound, particularly when you blend them with the Vista strings, which are a little bit more present, a little bit smaller ensemble. So they add a little bit more realism to the East-West strings, but the East-West strings have like body. They feel like they have like not a presence, but a like a room sound that's really hard to like emulate with other libraries. It just makes it feel more epic. You know what I mean? And so I've kind of gone back to adding them. I've added them back into the template. And we're just working with them, see how they feel for a while. Because for a while now, I've been wondering whether I've been sort of, whether you stray too far. We get this like recency bias of things that you buy, and you go, "Wow, this is such a great library. I'm going to use this on everything." And then you sort of stray from what made, much of your sound work. In the past, it's like, maybe I've gone too far. Maybe I've gone too far. I need to step back to the roots a bit. And just because it's an old library doesn't mean it's a bad library. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with an old library. I used to only use one library for years. So yeah, so that's where I'm sitting at the moment, and particularly for the cellos, like. Listen to this. So this is the Vista cellos. This is like a very stark difference. So this is Vista cellos. Maybe I'll turn them up a bit so you can hear them a bit clearly. These are great strings. I use them on everything. So these are the Vista cellos. But they're a small sound. They don't sound like there's like a whole section of cellos. It's maybe like 2 or 3 cellos. And recently I've been pairing them with this patch, which is a Pacific Strings, which is same developer. Which is like a bigger section sort of sound. And so I've been blending these two a lot. Which is good. I think it's good sound. But this is what I used to have. This is the East-West Hollywood Strings cello legato blended with the Vista. Oh, I'll get back to here. This is back to Pacific Strings. Sounds good, but this is the East-West. It's subtle. Maybe it's subtle. You don't quite hear it, but I feel like there's so much more drama with the East-West cello, and that's what I crave. I want a bit of drama in my music, and I feel like it's night and day. But maybe I'm just making this up. Anyway, so this is what I'm doing. I'm going back to East-West. And typically I know it's for like the short strings. This is the basses for the East-West. And this is what I've been using. You can't tell me this is any better. That's what I've been using. It's so something. It's missing low end. It's actually so much better. So I don't know what I've just been like. I've just been chasing the new thing and missing the whole point. So here we are. Here we are. Did you change your name, Yannick? How you doing, buddy? Thank you so much for the sub. Prime. The Prime sub. 35 months. That's so long. Happy New Year, man. Hope you're good, man. It sounds sick. When did you start the audio? I started it Saturday. Spent a couple of hours on Saturday, sort of pulling this sort of this opening section together. It just felt like after I made the template and playing around with the East-West strings, it's like I wanna try it out. So this is what came out of that. I got a gig where I need to do big band with late night character instead of usual orchestral music. Oh gosh. I know the Incredibles use big band, but do you have any tips or inspiration for you? I'm kind of stuck with empty sheets for weeks. Oh man. I'm not really great with the big band stuff. I had to do a little bit more of that Incredibles tone for a lot of recent, like, well, a lot of Alan Becker stuff, both for the Animation vs. Animator and Animation vs. Minecraft. And it's not easy to find good. There are libraries out there, but I haven't really necessarily gone hunting for them. I've had some success with like that sort of big band brassy sound there's a library in the Composer Cloud, the East-West Composer Cloud library, like collection, called Pop Brass. And that's had some, like, it has some really good stabs, like brassy, trumpety stabs, and sort of flares and trills and things like that make it really good for that sort of really over the top, orchestral big band sound, like really big, that big sound. So that might be good if that's the sort of similar tone. If you're going for that incredible sound, those are pretty good. They're fairly limited though. As not many of the patches are great. Some of them are really, like, they're pretty good. There's just short stuff, and there's a legato. I think that works really well. And it has that sort of, that overblown kind of messy sound to it, which is, I think, is good for that, that sort of spy style, jazzy big band kind of feel that you might be going for. But if you want something that's really more explicitly big band, it's probably good to, I don't know, do a bit of hunting. But I have not really, I've not having a real excuse to go looking for a big band sound. So I have not done it myself. So I don't know if that's very much help for you. But yeah, pop brass has saved me many, many times. In that regard. Brendan, how you going? I'm doing good. How are you doing? Happy New Year. Yes, Jay. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely a different kind of language with big band. Different sort of vibe and the chords involved, I guess. Definitely different feel to conventional orchestration. Um, I don't know if I have great tips, sadly. A lot of like if I'm emulating that vibe, it's a lot of just trying to like sort of screwing around and figuring out how what works good and sort of I mean, a lot of my composition, particularly for like client work, is like it is like getting it to the point where it passes, you know, rather than being like a perfect example of big band writing. It's more that it has the right vibe. I don't know whether that's something that's um uh you know, whether you have to be really explicit or not, but it's like if you can get it to the point where it sort of it does the job, and then that's a good place to be, I think. And I think having patches that kind of work and have that sort of tone that you're looking for, you do sort of, you know, you can play around and get that, I don't know, the right touches that make it sort of feel appropriate. Um, but yeah, it is a different kind of feel in writing. Um, I don't know, just immerse yourself in Michael Jig, you know. I think maybe that's what you need to do. What we're doing? Bit bytes. I want to add in some like sort of build up some more percussive elements leading into this back end that set This whole sort of opening section has it's very almost hard to hear what the beat is, which is kind of what I like. But now I want to build into something that where you more feel it more explicitly. Have some short strings doing rhythms. Have the synth. I got this sort of arpeggiated synth, which I use all the time. Have that sort of lock in a bit more, because at the moment it feels very floaty and just ethereal. It adds space and glitter. It adds a bit of glitter to it. That's this one here. But now we want it to sort of be more of a driving force. Because now we're at the serious end. It's like the opening part's the wonder, and then the second part's the now it's like the heroes need to get something done. You know what I mean? Bit bytes. Let's go to all my usual patches that I use for these things. I really need to expand my horizons and find some new things to play with. Interstellar soundtrack had an affair with Infinity Train. I don't know Infinity Train. What is that? I'm curious. I have a question. The melody that plays for the warden in the AVM sounds familiar when it's the chase part. Was there a particular song that's playing in that part was referenced something? No, I don't think so. It was just kind of like a little riff that I came up with for those chase scenes. That done. It's a fairly typical sort of sequence of notes though that gets used for like villainy sort of sounds. You know what I mean? It's pretty common, almost like a stereotype sort of sound. So that's probably why, because it probably sounds familiar. Like you've heard a similar sort of someone else using the same notes essentially. It's pretty common. I'm not saying I'm a great composer, I just, I don't come up with new stuff. I just use what's out there. I'm like AI. No, I'm not. I'm not AI. No. It's not true. It's not true. It's all lies. Actually, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to do this. Ooh, that sounds great. Finishing was a really good animated show on HBO. Okay. Let's try trouble people being teleported to a train dimension. Thing to work out their problems. Okay. Okay. Sounds like a normal show. Open this up. Clonk, 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 clonk. Get rid of the lows. So many things like that now, Planet. Like there's like just shows just don't exist anywhere. Our wonderful future that we all envisage for ourselves, it's kind of a bit crap, right? Yeah, I'm not really fond of our current progression towards a utopian technological future where everything's available for us at any given time. No, it's not true anymore. We can't do that. Have I tried Ark Rise? No, but I really want to try it, Yannick. Yeah, I actually think it looks really good. I watched review from what's it, Skill Up. He's like an Aussie game reviewer, and he was really having a good time. And the fact is, he was playing it solo, which I thought it was like not a solo game. I thought you had to have people to play with. So like, oh, maybe this is good. It's not good. A lot of Simpson that score. I bet there is. I assume they're sort of channeling a bit of the a little bit of 80s kind of thing going on. 80s sci-fi futures. Could do a thing about called a in the percussion called a McNut special. What's a McNut special? McNut special. Oh, is this like a drum line? Is this it? Interesting. Okay, I'll think about it. I'll see if it works somewhere. That's awesome, Yupa. I'm so happy. Glad I've been able to help you out. And I appreciate you sharing it with your audience too. This is how it all works. You should try issue maybe I'll check that could be the prologue opening, kind of opening titles from Jurassic Park by John Williams. I feel like I've got a lot of tracks that are kind of like that. You know, like there's big sort of theme that swells up. Like the setup I have? Thank you. A lot of music programs are too complex for you. Really enjoy watching the score production process. Yeah, you do have to spend a bit of time with them, but once you learn one, you can learn a lot of them. I think they just become kind of toys after a while. But I agree. Like sometimes it's not super accessible, I think, but anything that's worth doing takes a bit of practice, I think. Thank you, Kaisami. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. I love working with Alan. It's makes some pretty good content for me to score, I have to say. What am I excited for? I'm really excited to share my score for Menace with you. Oh, come on, sticky notes. Go away. yeah, so I'm releasing the score to a game that I scored, releasing the soundtrack to a game called Menace, and I get to share that with you in February, and that's pretty cool. Very excited. But it's all sorts of stuff. I got an Elder Scrolls album as well, and I'm really really keen on it as well. Really had a lot of fun making that, and that's also coming out in February. Um, I want to share with you. It's going to be fun. A lot of stuff coming out early this year. It's all piled up on top of each other. Yeah, go for it, Yannick. You did that? Yannick! That's insane, dude. That's insane. Well done. What a placement. What a great one to get. Let's watch it. Can we watch it? Am I going to get DMCA'd if I watch this live? Let's find out. Doomsday Captain America. Let's do that one. We'll go to the Marvel one. We'll do the legit one. Not lame if they chose it, dude. Doesn't matter. That sounds good so far. Piano sounds lovely. That sort of intimate tone to it, which is perfect for baby. All the piano stacked. Yeah, I believe that. Mate, that's huge. Congratulations. I hope they paid you well. That's great. Go team. That's so exciting. So exciting. So was that's obviously a full custom job. Did you get the actual picture? Or were you like was it just make a sequence that was a certain like a, certain amount of time along? Oh, that's awesome, Wiki. So good. Keep on going back to the parts where I've finished. Scene had no picture, just a description and something like 30 revisions. Oh my god. Well, I hope it was worth it, dude. Really do. Such a strange space to work in. Like I remember, did I tell you? I mean, I went to a like the Australian Guild of Screen Composers had a symposium, and there was um Josh Crispin talking about his the industry, trailer music industry as it is now, and yeah, it's all about custom and all about just a billion edits, and it's like, and you have to be on call. It's like I remember I remember it very differently. We did do those kinds of occasional custom jobs, but often it was just like they just picked music from a catalog when I was doing it and just plonked it in and cut it up themselves. Fixing a mistake in the recording. We'll go to GDC one day. It was too far away. I would love to go. I would love to also just avoid the US for now. So that's probably I would probably not want to go to the US. Just, I mean, I'm not likely to have any problems with, you know, customs and immigration, getting through the border and stuff. But I've heard so many horror stories. I just don't want to be one of those dudes, and I just can't be bothered. But maybe when it's when the dust has settled on Trump, maybe. But I'd love to go to like Tokyo Game Show. I would love to go to like, because of Menace. Menace has been developed by a German dev, so I'd love to go and hang out with them at what's the one in Cologne? Game, game. Oh. Yeah, right. Yeah. You might be going to war with the US in short time. What's the one? Gamescom? Gamescom? Is that the one? Yeah, Gamescom. I'll go to Gamescom, I think. Be a good excuse to go to Germany, I reckon. So I don't know. Maybe that's this year. I don't know, because they'll be pushing. They had a stand last year, I think, and they'll be pushing towards 1.0 for February next year. So yeah, maybe that'll be fun. I could count that as partially a business expense. I hope. I hope. Even the drinks you buy the devs? Okay. Might have to ask my my accountant about that first, but yeah, but definitely the trip to Cologne. That's definitely a business expense. We can do that. We can pull it off. I'm gonna add a bit of cello, solo cello in this sort of build here. What do I want? Actually, this one's the better one. I like this one. What program is this? This is Sonar, Cakewalk Sonar, which is not a very commonly used DAW these days, but I've been using it in its various forms for like well over 20 years now. Uh, so yes. But it's kind of like Logic, Cubase, those kinds of programs. It's exactly that. Just a different program. All runs everything just like everyone else does. Strings. American, you apologize? Yeah, no worries. It's not your fault. It's just a few bad eggs, right? Mm. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I translated what you said. Magnificent and cool. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Welcome here. Welcome on in. I hope you're good. Okay, so It's Cosito. How you doing? How you doing? I'm playing around with the Vista 2 Ensemble shorts as well. Where are they? Where are they? Up here. What do I want to do? Yeah, I like a little bit of optimism in my music. I agree. I love, like, I was listening to, maybe this is influencing. There's a few scores I absolutely obsess with. One is actually the score to, and it's probably maybe what's actually directly inspiring this track, is a score for Beyond Earth, which is a game, it's like a Civ game. Like I think it's called Civilization: Beyond Earth, and I think it's Jeff Knorr who did a lot of the music for that. My gosh, that is such a good score. Like, such a good score, full of like that sort of super like optimism. It's like, you know, futurism sort of, but an optimistic version of it. And I also love a lot of like the first score for like the score for the first Destiny. I've forgotten there's like a team of composers led by one dude, but I forget. Salvatore, I forget. But that is really also very optimistic, like, you know, sci-fi score. Like, it's really uplifting and beautiful. I love music like that. Like, it's so good. It's very like I was always a big fan of James Horner's music. And he was the guy, like, if you don't know that, you know, from a lot of his work, he did the first Avatar movie. So it's that sort of, that's definitely his sound. That, you know, quite bright, optimistic, you know, uplifting music, big sound, big orchestral sound. He did Titanic. He did a whole bunch of stuff. Deep Impact is one of those scores that I always listen to a lot of for some reason. Apollo 13, those kinds of scores where it's like this sort of there's adversity, but we'll get through it. Those kinds of scores he's really good at. He was really good at. Sadly, he died in a plane crash, but he's really good. And I love the lineage of that music, you know, that sort of optimistic, hopeful vibes, you know. I think that's infused a lot into my music writing. Yeah, I have seen the Martian. I think it's that Harry Gregson Williams, maybe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, also very good. What program do I use? I'm using a program called Cakewalk Sonar. And it's kind of like Cubase or Logic or those kinds of programs. Um, just a little bit different. It's been around for a long time. I've been using it for over 20 years, but it's not super popular. I think not so many people use it these days, but I'm really fond of it because I've just been using it for so long. I'm just familiar with it. Maybe that goes for too long. Dun, 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 dun. Oops. Do. Where are the cellos? My gosh. Floating around everywhere. Was not recording. Why wasn't I recording? Thank you, Waterford. Thanks for hanging out. I will try my best. Copy. Paste. Okay, so something there. It's to sort of set up the build again. Thanks, Cade. I will try. Piscasito, thank you. Yeah, not too many people like me actually stream anymore. Used to be a few people. Not too many of us anymore. Jezik, thank you. Trying my best anyway. Trying to make it epic. Whoa! Okay, so we'll start building a new chord progression here. I don't know what. I don't know where it wanted to lead. It's going to be a really long track. Going on forever. Hmm. No. Bit of a crazy chord progression. Hey Dan, how you doing? I don't know if I have a favorite chord progression, to be honest. I don't really think like that. It's what's appropriate in the time, I guess. Where's the click? Yeah, that's probably alright. So this would be maybe the start of this final back end. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Okay, I'm gonna have a quick bio break. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'll play it from the beginning though. Right back. My mic isn't on. I should pay attention to chat. Oh, man. So I was trying to answer Biscasito's question about what am I thinking about when I'm writing music. And what I was saying is that I kind of want to figure out what story I want to tell, you know? Because I write cinematic music. It's music that You know, it's sort of, it doesn't go with picture, it doesn't go with pictures, but cinema is all about storytelling, and so I'm always after some sort of thing to tell. You know, it doesn't have to be an actual story, but it's like a feeling or a vibe that I'm trying to portray. And I use a lot of reference materials for like artwork to get me going. So I have I do a lot of looking around on places like ArtStation for like inspiring artwork to kind of get me going. You know, and there's a lot of cool stuff on there. Very cinematic styled artwork that is very evocative and gets your brain sort of thinking about things. But like once you're started, like I feel like I do often work a little bit on autopilot, where I'm just following my ear and figuring out what I think happens next, and it sort of leads me into weird, interesting places sometimes. I agree, Adrian. Whatever I say, even if you can't hear it, it's perfect. It's a great thing to say. No connection to Jeff Buckley, no. Well, he's none that I'm aware of, anyway. Story about the feeling of coffee in the morning. That's definitely a good story to tell. Good. One of the most important stories. At least for me. What snare do I want? I do like the performance sample snares, but I hate that they're on a massive delay. I wish I could, it's really hard to perform them. I'm really annoyed. Oh, your last name's Guthrie. Yeah, okay. So you can relate. Okay. I might just copy and paste this. Ad infinitum. See you, Brandon. Enjoy a day. more goals. Essence. That's awesome. Yeah, I do know a lot of people, working in animation and editing and everything who just use my music and writing. Just use my music as kind of a bit of a fuel. Like I use artwork, like you know, various, cool digital artists. That's how I get my fuel. People use my music in that way as well, and it's fantastic. Like we're all sort of feeding off each other, and this is like a healthy way of doing it, right? It's like an ecosystem. Unlike AI, which kind of does the same, feeds off everyone, but then I don't know, it's not the same for some reason. For some reason, it's not the same. That's awesome, Truth. So glad to hear it. Makes me happy. Okay, so let's do this up. We'll do the up. And then to fill out this section. What are these chords? Something like that. We'll save this section for later. So that's mostly good, I think. Delete a few notes. G'day Wade, how you going? How's life? Happy New Year. That's totally the wrong chord. Totally the wrong chord. You know, it's too easy to forget. Everyone, we're gonna spend so much time writing 2025. We have to date something. Refusing to remember that the year has changed and time is passing. Oh no, I'm so sorry. That's a pain in the ass. Having to fix get a new drive and reload it with junk. Not fun. Not a good start to the year. I'm sorry, buddy. Two terabytes gone. Oh. We'll leave that. I don't know what's going on there. Sheer fresh start, that's one way to look at it. Some years, maybe I think about, completely deleting everything and starting again, to be honest. I think there's a lot of libraries on there where I've loaded them up and then I've never touched them, or hardly ever do. And there's probably stuff, there's a lot of stuff in the complete library that I haven't, it's from Native Instruments. There's like a whole bunch of stuff that I just cannot fit on a hard drive, or my 4 hard drives that I've got. And I've never touched them. I don't even know what they offer. All these weird libraries that are in that collection. Because I never had the space. Just never had space for it. But there's probably a lot of stuff that I could just get rid of and make some room. But I gotta do that. if you drop out, Biscasito, it's great talking to you. Thanks for hanging out. And Gara, thank you for the 200 R's. Thank you. Epic. I'm glad you're enjoying it. How do I make money when everything's CC? So, I mean, a lot of people play my music on platforms like Spotify, even YouTube, and that's really ramped up over the last couple of years. So that's good. I also have the Patreon where people support me, but I also have the Content ID. So a couple of years ago, now maybe 3 years ago, we went to a system where you have to so provide a credit in the video description of a YouTube video to use my music without getting a claim. So if you do that, you're fine. But if you don't get a claim, if you don't use a credit, you don't place a credit in the video, there's a copyright claim that's placed on your video, and I get some of that revenue. So that's how that works. See you, Pretty Maniac. Good to see you. So there's that as well. So there's a few different avenues, which is good these days. And the system's mostly good because it helps enforce the license. There's a lot of people who don't use my music appropriately at all. They always will fail to credit. And so this is sort of a way to enforce the license in a way. And hopefully, like, the idea is that I would not benefit at all. You know, so everyone's crediting me appropriately, but not everyone does, sadly. Oh dear. Okay. So slowly filling out. Maybe we do the timpani, fill out the low end a bit. Maybe the low strings. Start filling. Oh, piano maybe. G Donson, yeah, it has been a sticking issue with the new system, but one thing that has worked pretty well is that if a game dev gets in contact with us and tells us what tracks they're using, we can add their game details, so like certain keywords from their game, into our system so that it can track those terms as part of the keywords that it's looking for, to allow use of it with free use. So say like Silica used, like, I don't know which tracks for this, Discovery or something, or Escape Velocity. We can go to that track and add terms like Silica, or the game dev title, or titles that are related to the game, so that if there's a stream that's playing the game that have mentioned the game in their description or in the title of their stream, then it should be fine. Like, they should be able to use it with no issue. It's the only really way that we've been able to make that work, but it seems to work okay. I think most streamers will mention, at least on YouTube, somewhere in the description what game they're playing. So it does work pretty well, but it's not ideal, unfortunately. Okay. Definitely need a lot more percussion in this section. Big build. But we'll worry about that later. I'm not really good at percussion. It's probably my weakest point. The epic percussion stuff. how much percentage. I think it may be 80. I don't exactly know, to be honest. Do some timpani rolls. That's my job, Jay. Make every day epic. Has come so naturally. I think it's just doing it a lot. I think that's it. Just like a lot of, like crafts people, they don't necessarily think about a lot of things that they're doing, but they do it. They just automatically do it because that's what they've always done. And it's sort of a similar thing here. I've done it a lot, and I've done it enough that I just kind of, there's a way that I do things, I guess, and it naturally happens. Just, I guess what it is, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still overthink things too a lot. Particularly when I'm doing something very new, like a genre that I'm not very familiar with. You do get in your head about things, but these kind of things, I've been sort of, dabbling with these sort of uplifting orchestral styles for so many years, and I've written so many tracks in this style that I think you kind of find the ways that you do it, and you just kind of do it. I don't know how other way to put it. Yeah, it's kind of like when they talk about mastery. I'm not saying that I'm a master, but the idea of like you getting to, oh, it's raining. How exciting. Um, you're getting to a point where you're less, you know, you're not thinking. You're kind of just, you know, it's almost like a muscle memory. CJ, good to see you, buddy. I love rain. Can you hear it? Very heavy, actually. Came out of nowhere. Mm. I would agree with that aside, yeah. I think I mean it's hard to do. It's hard to separate yourself um from the music. And I'm not saying like you completely disassociate, you know what I mean? Uh but it's also having, yeah, having a moment, having like a some sort of check in you to help you sort of let it go. You know, let things slide. Um I think one thing that the stream, like doing the stream, particularly when I was in Sweden, what the stream helped me with was that because I'm working with you guys, I'm working here doing, you know, doing music for you. I'm not gonna like just fixate on, you know, one little cello line for the 3 hour the hours that I'm working with you here. It's just kind of boring, you know. I wouldn't want you to go through that. Very boring. And so I do something, and then I quickly move on to something else, and I quite just construct things. And I feel like that the idea of that close enough is good enough, particularly with the music I'm writing. Like, close enough is good enough. You know, like if it's doing most of the job that it needs to do, then great, we can move on to something else. And I find that those little imperfections that you don't quite like, they all sort of even out. And when you got the whole thing going, the whole track going, and also I find there is a learning process in iteration. So like when you're creating a lot of music over time, you can, you know, when you push out a track and complete it, like that becomes it's a learning process in itself, and you can recall those things that you did on previous work in future work, and that's sort of how you get better at things. You grow by, you know, iterating, I think, in many ways. I think what a lot of composers do was that they don't go through that iterative process. They sort of focus on that, like that this track right in front of them is the track, you know, like it's the only track you'll ever write, and you have to get it perfect, and that's not true, you know. Like you can write something, and that can be what it is, you know, for this track, and the next time you do it, you can have another crack at that, you know, that particular technique that you were trying in that last track. Have another go, see if you can do it a little bit better this time. And that iterative process, I think, is really important, and I think a lot of people miss out on that. Sadly. And this is particularly important for someone who's like, I mean, the library is very much my learning, my way of like trying out ideas and exploring things and having a go. If I'm working on a project, it comes a little less. There's a little less leniency in that regard. You do have to kind of get it right. But even then, I find like if you've got a big body of work that you're contributing to a project, then like all those little things also, you know, kind of disappear in the grand scheme of things, really. As long as everything's doing what it needs to do and has the right vibe and everyone's happy with it, you know, like it doesn't have to be 100% your vision that you set out to do. It just needs to do the job. So yeah, it's all about compromise, I guess. Hey, Enderblade! Happy New Year, buddy. Oh my gosh, it is raining so heavy. So much noise. So much noise. Reminds me a little bit of Age of Wonder, I guess. That's one that reminds me of. Oh yeah, Enderblade, that's awesome. Yeah, it's a really good collection. The brass I'm still using. Actually, I'm talking about earlier today, the strings, I'm going back to the strings a bit more as well. It's really good collection of collection sounds. So I'm glad you're on board. Turn everything down. Okay. We'll double them. A good question. Actually, I think probably the the sequence in the King, for hero, the theme for Herobrine or Herobrine. I don't know how you say his name. Does anyone know how to say his name? But Herobrine. That sort of um that sequence was a lot of fun. This felt like a really cool sort of, you know, moment in that in that episode. Figure this out later. Blop, blop. Yeah, I think you're right. Is a bit of a favorite of some. Saving. Thanks, Just. Come on. I can play it. Something went wrong here with the quantizing. Oh, these strings, come on, stop. Something like that, I think. Saving. too bad. Sticky notes everywhere. In Exferno. Thank you, mate. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. It's too complex. Support those higher strings. I don't know what's coming next. We'll cut that. Yes, okay. Mainly choir music. I mean, I've got tracks with choir in it, but nothing just choir. And it's, I guess, mostly because the way I write is mostly with samples, right? So I kind of always focused on writing that I guess, shows off the samples I have the best. You know, I don't try to use samples that don't work for the way that I write. So it ends up that I probably don't have too much in the way of like just choral music on its own, but I would like to. Just I don't know. Maybe I haven't got the right combination of libraries. I don't know. How you doing, Stormkiller? How you doing? How do you turn the volume of the low end strings to put in the track like this? I mean, it's very much just playing by ear, see what feels right. I mean, for instance, this track, like this part of the track at least, the cellos aren't leading. So you got to think about when you're writing music, who's got the, I guess, the lead, or like you think about it like vocal lines. Who's got the lead vocals at that point? And they're the ones that sort of need to come forward. They need the ones to be the most present and audible, because they comment leading the melody, or they're at least leading the voice. They're doing the voice leading in the chord structure. There's not much melody here. It's more just vibe and chord changes. But the high strings here, the violins 1 and 2, they're doing the voice leading here. They're leading you through these chord changes with the, like, you know, and adding this sort of saw to the track. So they're the hero right now. So everything else is kind of supporting them. So the cellos here are doing a sort of a slight counter melody, but their volume has to sort of sit below those violins so they don't compete, even though they're in a different register, so they won't compete frequency wise necessarily, but they still need to sort of sit below those violins. That's how I mean, it's often like you have to play it by ear, because you don't really know. It's all very relative. So you're listening to the violins and then figuring out where those cellos should sit in that mix. And that, I guess that comes with practice as well, listening to a lot of soundtracks. And when you hear sequences like this where the violins are doing a lot of the leading, how are the cellos sitting, you know? You want them audible, because you do want that sort of slight, because I'm doing this sort of slight counter melody. It's not doing anything crazy, but little sort of movements that counter what the violins are doing. And you want to hear that. You want to hear it present, you know, in the mix, but not dominant, definitely. Do you think Alan would need another music producer for his videos? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, he has moved to using Avenza for some projects, because I've been busy and he's been available. Yeah, but so he's definitely open to it, but I don't know, you have to send him an email. I have this song stuck in my head, think it's quiet, but it's not sure. I don't know much about music, to be honest. Can I share the YouTube link for you? If you like, yeah. Send it over, I'll see what I can determine. quickly do some trumpet. Software I'm using Cakewalk Sonar, which is, I don't know if you've heard of programs like Cubase or Logic. It's pretty much like that, except just a different variant. And yeah, it's good. I've been using it for a very long time, so that's pretty much the reason I use it. Not sure about the low end because I'm not sure if I hear it correctly or some parts are sticking out a bit more. I don't know. It could be. I'm not saying that I'm good at mixing. Inbound, yeah. It does. Actually, you're right. Something else playing? Mouse, how you doing? Happy New Year to you too. And thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Welcome back, Jay. I think I'm nearly finished as well for the day. Not finished the track, just for the session. Indeed, outside, yeah. We do different things, and that's good. I think that's what Alan needed. There's some things where they wanted to go in different directions, and I just not equipped. You know what I mean? Not without spending a lot of time, like, you know, tooling around. And there's a lot of edits involved, and it's hard work. So it's good to have someone who can do what they need the music to do without too much fuss, which is good. Makes it a lot easier all around. A lot easier. Guys, I might call it there. I'm going to have some lunch. Go find some food. Yeah, Jay's still around. Y'all need to go to bed, by the way. So I know how late it is for you. I know how late it is for you. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Appreciate it, as usual. Yeah. I'll work on this a little bit more this week. We may continue next week. I'm thinking about streams like we might look at adding more days. Like, I was talking about this late last year, because it's almost like the only time I tend to write music for the library is, at least at the moment, is when I'm doing a stream. So it's probably good all around if I actually do more streams, because then I'll get more music written for the library. And everything sort of feeds each other. So I have to figure this out. But I'll keep you posted. At the moment, we'll just keep it for the one day on the Tuesday mornings, Australian time. But we'll figure it out. Used to do 3 days in Sweden, 3 days a week. Big difference. Needs to get a lot more work done. But yeah, I hope you guys have had, you know, a good start to year. I hope it continues. Take it easy, and I'll talk to you very soon. Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Bye.